this. Alright. Let us drop this. If you ask me like my StarCraft shirt, it's like, yeah, I could give you a very in-depth answer because I'm pretty into StarCraft, but it's like even then it's like different facets, right? Like I like the gameplay of StarCraft and I like the multiplayer aspect, but the like the lore I don't really follow that much. And likewise someone might be into oh, I don't know. They might be into the new Thor movie just because they think Tom Hiddleston's a dreamboat, or Kate Blanchett is really good. And don't know much about the Thor and his friends. Why am I stuck? Oh no. Man. We are stuck. All right, we're gonna solve this by loading up the previous save game. Oh dear. All right, so we're gonna have to reloot everything. I've seen this one guy wearing a counter shirt. I'm like, oh, what rank are you? What's your favorite team? He's like, I don't know. I just play casual. Oh yeah, no. Well, and that's just it. Like everyone's we have like this weird we have this weird thing in society where sometimes, man, things are exploding. Like people assume like to be a fan of something like you have to be a hardcore fan. Like for example, like if I want to be a fan of Fallout New Vegas, like I have to know like all the lore, which like weapons to use in which situation, like all these things. Whereas really like a fan just means in my mind like you just like the stuff or whatever it is that you're consuming, like the media that you're consuming. Like all it takes, I think, for someone to be a fan, like say for example of Fallout, is that they just like Fallout. Like even if they just like it to a small degree, it's like, oh, like I thought it was an interesting game. Like they can still be a fan based off of that, though. Like being a fan is kind of like ambiguous because it's not really clearly defined, because everyone has like a different definition of what it means to be a fan. Like some might say, oh, like you can only be a like a fan of this TV show if you know literally everything about it. But it's like most people I know aren't fans to that degree. Okay, so I don't think this is it because there's absolutely nothing in common. Disciplined. No, we just searched this, right? Yes. Eliminating. Oh, it's the ing. Okay, so that could work. Yep. Disengage lock. Okay. And we're gonna actually save too because I don't want to get stuck again. That really sucked. Ugh. I can't believe 1,000 saves. Ooh. Neat. And, like, what do I just take? Oh, I don't think I want that. And I think different fandoms are, I was gonna say different fandoms are different, and it's kind of like, yeah, well, no duh, Sherlock. Okay, the clipboard. I think we put up a clipboard. But like I found like what I wanted to say is that the a rocket canister. What the? I found that like say fans of like one series or game, like so for example, like Counter-Strike fans might be a lot different than say like Defense of the Agent fans or Dota fans, as it were. Though like in general, like I don't really interact much with any particular fan base. Like, cause for me, like at most, it's like I like something, and then I'll be at work and I'll like be talking to someone else, like, oh, like I like this too, or I'll be at the comic book store playing Dungeons and Dragons, and it's like, oh, like we'll have this conversation about something else that we like too. Like I don't normally go to like say the My Little Pony subreddit and go, oh, like I'm gonna converse with other people about my love for like My Little Pony. I'm not a My Little Pony fan, by the way. I'm just using that as an example. I've never seen the show. I just understand it has a big fan base, which is completely okay. Like I have no problems with that whatsoever. Like people disliking things simply because they're popular is like that's just not. It's not something I like to do. And that's just it. Like even in high school, it was very popular to dislike Call of Duty simply because Call of Duty was popular. People were like, "Yeah, like I don't like Call of Duty because like it's a popular thing." And it's like, well, now it's like, you know, if you dislike something that just because it's popular, I don't think that's a good reason to dislike something. Though that being said, like there's times when people like dislike things that happen to be popular, and that's okay. Like I've talked to people who are like, yeah, I'm not really into the Marvel films. I think it has to be collector. By process of elimination. And like they give me like reasons like for like why they're not into like, you know, Marvel films, and they just say, well, I just don't like superheroes. I'm like, that's completely okay. Like that's the reason they don't like superheroes. So whereas if someone said I don't like the Marvel films because they're popular, it's like, okay, I'm gonna need a little bit more than that. Like what's going on here? I feel like there's something more to like if they gave like a very like elaborate reason, like, oh, here's why I don't like popular things because it really conflicts with my ideologies because you know, popular things reflect like cheap mentality or something. It's like, okay, like I get that then, right? Like you're giving me some more reasons like why you might not like something. And I get that. That's cool. I can get behind that. But sometimes I feel like people don't have good reasonings for not liking something, though. I think sometimes what it is that people don't like something, or they say they don't like something. It's because like they want attention. Like if something's really popular, and then you say, "Oh, I hate this really popular thing," like I hate it so much. It's like, well, like shoot, like why do you hate this really popular thing? Like that's more likely to get attention than say like, you know, let's say we're talking about Call of Duty, and Call of Duty is like super popular. And I say, oh, like I really like Call of Duty. People are like, yeah, cool, like me too. Like that's the end of the discussion. Whereas if I say I hate it, then it's like, well, then people are gonna pay attention to me. And like, some people like they just like any attention is good attention for them. A brownie. Yes, I am a fellow brownie. No, I don't watch the show. I'm not like averse to the idea of watching the show, but like I don't think it's gonna happen in my lifetime. Well, I never say never. Like you never know. Maybe like 2 years from now, I'll like start watching it. Like, some people don't like animated stuff because of the art style, and you know, again, like I can understand where they're coming from, but I don't have any versions of that. Like I've watched like Rick and Morty, Gravity Falls, all those were animated. Yeah, I've had a great time watching them. How do we get to the other side? And like I guess like likewise about like, you know, My Little Pony. Like there are some people who genuinely dislike it. There's a lot of people who do like it. But then there's also people in the middle who just say they don't like it, but they really don't have a strong opinion on it. And I think that's okay. Like, I think sometimes people are. Here's the evening where I just make a lot of bold assumptions that without any evidence to back them up. But I wonder sometimes if people are uncomfortable to say that they don't have a strong opinion on something. Like, it almost feels like when you know. People are expected to have opinions on everything. Like, so for example, it's like, oh, what do you think of this TV show? Like, it's either supposed to be like, oh, I like it or I dislike it. Like, I don't hear many people say that, oh, like, what do you think of this? Well, I guess it's not entirely true, but I was gonna say, I don't hear a lot of people say, oh, I don't have a strong opinion on that, or I just don't have an opinion. Like, that doesn't happen very often. Like, I've heard people say, oh, I haven't watched the show. I've heard that before. But I haven't heard, I just don't have a strong opinion. And I think that's completely okay to say. Or, like, I don't know. That's something that people don't seem to say either. Okay, so I think that's where we need to go. So I'm going to go back up because I think there was a door. It's like, oh, like, do you know the solution to this problem? Like, no, I don't know. Like, people don't say that very much, and I think it's the people have this. Well, I think they feel sometimes if they don't know the answer that they may look dumb. And you know, some people are like insecure about their how they appear to others. Like some people like really put a lot of emphasis on like, oh, like I want to make sure that the others see me as smart, so I don't want to say that I don't know something because it's gonna like appear that I don't really know what I'm talking about, so I'm gonna like make something up. Whereas for me, at least, I have more respect when people say, "Oh, I don't know the answer to this," because that means like they're being honest, like they just don't know. And I have a lot of respect for honesty, and I try to be honest, but it's not easy. So those are my random thoughts. If you disagree, feel free to say so. But and sometimes like people are put in those situations. Like I understand why, and I'm not saying everyone does this, but I understand why sometimes people would like try to make up an answer or something. Like my boss came to me and said, "Hey, do you know what this theorem is related to mathematics?" Like it can be scary to say to your boss, "I don't know the answer," but and I think that's why like it's about the correct phrasing. Like, so you might say, "Oh, I don't know the answer, but I would be happy to look it up." Like, it's because you can say the same thing in two very different ways. Like, let's say for example, "Hey, do you know what 2 + 2 is?" "No, I don't know. Go shove off." Or I can say, "Oh, I don't know, but I can certainly look up the answer." Right? Like, I said the same thing in two very different ways, and I think that's part of why communications language is so important, because even though we just said the same thing, we said so in very different ways. And that's why, like, I think for like online communication, like it's hard to know if people are being sarcastic or not, because we don't have the whole like body languages and other things to assist in our understanding. Like, for example, like you could say something in chat right now, and like for the most part, like I think I could have a handle like what you're really trying to say. But if you're trying to be sarcastic, it could be lost on me, because I don't think sarcasm is portrayed very well via online communication. Like, I think the richest communication we have is when you're like talking to someone like face to face, because like, yes, we can hear people talk, or like we can read what they're saying, but the face does so much speaking too. Like, you can read someone's like face and like have like a general sense of, like, oh, like this is what this person's feeling right now. Or same thing for dogs. Like, people would say, "Oh, I wish my dog could talk," and it's like, well, dogs don't need to talk because their body language tells us everything we need to know. Like, I could look at my dogs and I could tell whether or not my dogs were happy or sad just based on like their posture and like if they're wagging their tails. Like, the number one, I think in my mind, one of the easiest ways to read what your dog is saying is like look at their tail. Like, their tail speaks a lot to the dog's mood. Like, if the dog's wagging their tail, that usually means that they're excited. Like, there's exceptions too, but like that's why context is also important. Whereas I've met some people who say, "Yeah, no, like online communication is it's just like regular communication." It's like, I don't know. Like, we're doing a lot of like, technology is amazing. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna take a sip of my water. Excuse me. Technology is amazing. Like, because of technology, I can play this video game right here, right now, and someone from a different country can like watch me play this video game, and then afterwards I can archive this permanently on the internet. And if I want to like come back and view this, like me playing this, I can absolutely do that. That's cool. Like, that's a really cool thing that we have thanks to technology. Though I feel that sometimes, because of technology, we run the risk of losing some like the human elements in some of our previous activities, which I think we don't want to lose that. Like, for communication and like socializing, I think sometimes we involve technology too much when really we should be more focused on like the human element of it.
Lies your work.
Oh, things people say are